Full Grim Timmy comments, it's the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He chose poorly. That's a good one. I like that one for sure. I guess we're already getting started. Vigorous response. But I won't be responding to Derek. I'll be responding or reading some of the comments that were made on his video. So this is your moment of fame, dear subscribers. So me and Derek are pretty much on the same page, so that's why I don't need to respond to him, because we both come to the same conclusion. Steroids make you look older, and probably in a dose-dependent fashion. So the more you take, the older you're going to look. And the more you take for the longer periods of time, it might not be reversible anymore. Now, personally, I was blasting and cruising for 8 years straight. On my third cycle, I did one cycle, 4 months. Second cycle was 6 months, PCT'd in between. And then my third and final cycle, well, never say never, right? My third cycle was 8 years, blasting and cruising. Now, I kept my dosage reasonably moderate. And that's why I feel that I'm de-aging a little bit in the process now that I'm doing PCT. So some of the contributing factors to making you look older was, of course, the water retention, like we both agreed to. Maybe it's the epidermal growth factor that gets stimulated by higher dosages of testosterone, whether that's 150 milligrams or 2,000 milligrams per week. It's still super physiological, right? So you can expect a little bit more epidermal growth factor activity, promoting skin formation, which all gets exacerbated by the use of growth hormone, insulin, IGF-1, or some of the heavy androgens that people like to use during contest prep. Those really mess with your skin. And then it looks like somebody superimposed the picture of the moon over your entire body, craters, blemishes, etc. There's only a few compounds you can actually take safely that will highlight and promote collagen synthesis and make you look youthful, not in the face, but in the body. So you'll get nice skin texture from that. Something like a primobolan, anavar, those are known to improve your skin texture. But amasterone, trenbolone, even nandrolone, probably indirectly from the estrogen surge that you'll get alongside of the nandrolone and the testosterone. So there's a lot to take into consideration. I feel that, well, at least in my case, that the aged appearance that I got while I was on cycle in the 10 years that I took steroids have now already been completely reversed. I feel that I look representative of my age. You guys can let me know in the comment section below and just be brutally honest. Do I look 37 to you? I don't think it's the case. And even if I look at my face now objectively, and I would look at it as I were at a client, it doesn't look like I took steroids in my life ever. I mean, there's obviously signs of masculinity. I mean, I'm over 30, so there should be a hint of masculinity there. But I don't feel I have this super androgenic jaw and cranium and all these weird deformations that you would normally see on guys that really abused the androgens or the growth hormone, the IGF-1, for several years or decades on end. So I feel that whatever things I did in the past, I don't think they were permanent. You guys can let me know in the comment section below. And maybe this is a good challenge for Derek to come off his hormone replacement as well. Maybe it will take a few years off your appearance. Again, even 100 milligrams of testosterone per week is going to put some water on you. Feel free to join me in PCT. So without further ado, let's go over some of the comments that were made on Derek's video titled Steroids Will Age Your Face, Before and After Example. It's already got 70,000 views, 2.5K likes, and 1,200 comments. And I don't think I'll be able to reply to all of them, so we'll just go with the best ones. Starting with Harmon Basin. He comments, an epic collab, Steve and Derek. Yes, so that's in the making. Hopefully we'll be able to do a podcast in the future. Scheduling is always a little bit of an issue because we have almost opposite time zones. Derek lives in Canada. I'm living in Thailand, and being self-employed means you're busy 24/7, 365. So hopefully at one point we'll be able to do a podcast together and make it interesting and entertaining. Matt Dobing comments, Jumufu is a good example. He's only 34, but could easily be 10 years older. I didn't know Jumufu was 34, so he's 3 years younger than I am. So again, these are Matt's comments. I'm just responding to them. I believe that Jumafull right now is in contest prep, so he has little to no body fat left on his body. And what happens, especially in the face, so like I mentioned in the video that I did about looking older when you're on steroids, testosterone promotes epidermal growth factor, causing a little bit of hyperplasia of the skin. Now in the body, you can easily fill that out by filling it out with muscles underneath. And of course, being lean body fat kind of cellophane wraps everything around your muscularity. But in the face, unless you compete at a really high level and everything starts to grow, in the face, it usually collapses because there's no muscle underneath. There's a ton of muscles, of course, but they're not going to hyperplasia as much compared to the skeletal muscle that you're trying to build in bodybuilding. And even when you eat an insane amount of food and keep chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing, the muscles in your face are not going to grow as much as the muscles on your body because you're training those for hypertrophy, and chewing and grinding and making gnarly faces during your working sets is not going to put so much muscle on your face. Yeah, and even with heavy androgens growing out your jaw, it's still not enough to prevent the wrinkles from forming. So a lot of these guys that are in contest prep, yes, they look a little bit older. Again, because the skin collapses on top of their face because there's no body fat left, you'll still hold some sort of water regardless of what compound you use, even if you take the testosterone out and you take the estrogen down to zero, it's very common during a contest prep. Even then, you'll still have wrinkles. And of course, a lot of people associate wrinkles with age. I saw some of the comments on my videos. When I do this, I got a ton of wrinkles as well. No, I don't use Botox, and I might have to in the future, but right now I'm okay with it. Luckily, I'll interject this about yourself, right? You're not holding a mirror in front of you 24/7. So the only way you really know is how old you look is by the reaction of other people. So what I got after doing PCT is that a lot of people told me I looked younger. It looked more youthful and more fresh, more cleaner skin. And, on cycle, I have pretty good skin already because I do take my collagen and I take care of my health. But it's not the case for everybody. So if you got a bad skin with a lot of texture, like I mentioned before, it looks like the moon, because of acne scars or, cystic stuff. People, poor hygiene, you never really know, right? So the texture and the wrinkles really give you that aged appearance. Now, I think in case of Jumafull, once he's got a few donuts and some ice cream under his belt and he feels out his face a little bit, during the off season, he should look considerably younger as well. So again, I'm looking forward to his competition pictures because Jumafull is a badass. Jonathan Irizarry comments, "It's true. Me and my girl were going through my own pics this morning talking about looking old AF on cycle." Well, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I'm sure that's what he meant. Jonathan, I hope you're doing well. I know you're in Copenhagen right now with your girlfriend, and it seems like you're having a good time. Hopefully the borders to Thailand will open up reasonably soon. I'd love to see you again at the Muscle Factory. Bring your girl, and we'll go on a double date. You're your girl, me and my wife. And we'll eat all the sushi we can find. Chronostasis comments, "Young kids, I don't care. I just want girls to like me." So if you're a kid, you shouldn't take steroids. You should at least let your body mature. I started performance-enhancing drugs when I was 26. I guess nowadays that's considered late to the party, but I never felt like I was ready until I was 25, 26 years old. And then I took the plunge, 1 ampule of testosterone per week. 250 tests per week, which is nowadays a low cruise for most of the guys. But that was my cycle back then, or that's at least how I got started. So if you're young and you're watching this channel, don't take performance-enhancing drugs until you've mentally and physically matured so you can actually deal with the complications that are going to come with it, because you're always going to get something. There's no free ride. You get a little bit of a performance-enhancing boost, maybe quality of life goes up, and the opposite end, you're going to get acne, hair loss, or look old AF. Now, when you're younger, you want to look older, and when you're older, you want to look younger. So project yourself into the future. What do you want? Do you want to fight for 40 years trying to look younger, or do you want to wait 5 years? Puberty will set in, all the hormonal boost that you're going to get for free will occur, and you'll look good. Yeah. Don't bodybuild for the girls. The girls that like bodybuilders, there's always a bigger bodybuilder. Just look at it that way. And there's a special kind of girls that likes really big, muscular, freaky bodybuilders. So I would personally, what I did, I mean, I met my wife in the gym. She liked fitness, and I was not that large yet. I was 90 kilos lean, not 100 kilos lean. So back then, you give yourself some time to form a relationship through friendship, and then you start dating. And if a girl approaches you because you're freaky, nasty, hard, dense, muscular, just remember there's always a bigger guy, and if that's her preference, you're easily replaced. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, don't build muscle for the girls. Most of the girls are not going to like the amount of muscle that you are going to build. They will tolerate it, especially after they've had a solid experience with the pushing power that this much muscle can provide. So you can convince them that way. This is gonna turn into a sex video again. So you can convince them with your muscularity, but it shouldn't be your only characteristic. There should still be some personality behind the muscle, and hopefully a little bit of finances. Don't spend all your money on Trenbolone and GH, so you can't buy your girlfriend a nice dinner in return. Vegan pest control comments. Steroids seem to speed up everything, not just gains, but age itself. Yeah, it's very true. So whatever you have in your genetic makeup, whether that's hair loss, acne, gynecomastia, if you're prone to that, I was. So I developed a little bit of gynecomastia when I took nandrolone stupidly in combination with testosterone. I didn't get it on DECA only, which I won't repeat ever again because I still like my testosterone as a base. So steroids will exacerbate whatever you have in your genetic makeup. Now, if you're prone to building a tremendous amount of muscle mass, steroids is going to accelerate that. And everybody else is hoping, fingers crossed, they're going to get the same effect from steroids. But it's not always the case. And in more cases than not, it's not the case. Yes, you'll get muscle mass because you're training insane, hopefully. You're putting in the work, you're paying attention to your food and your supplementation, and you're doing your blood work, and you're getting your organs checked once in a while, and you get some muscle in the process. If you're prone to hair loss, you're going to get bald. If you're prone to acne, you're going to get more acne unless you use Accutane. That was the case for me, at least. If you're having severe anger management issues before taking steroids, then going on cycle will definitely exacerbate that. Most notably, the ones with a very high androgenicity, they're going to make you very, very angry and moody and maybe even a little bit anxious and paranoid, etc. So just keep that in mind. I had some anger management issues in the past as well. So Trenbolone, halotestin, anything too androgenic, that's completely off the radar for me. So whatever anger management issues I used to have in the past have now mostly been resolved simply by moving to Thailand, where things are a little bit more peaceful and stress-free. So even though it's an internal issue, and steroids will definitely exacerbate that, you can modify it or make it better simply by changing your surroundings. And I will vouch 100% for that. If you're not happy in one place and you're agitated and irritable and anxious, etc., moving somewhere else will solve most of the issues. So with steroids, yes, it will age you. It might make you more moody, acne, hair loss, gynecomastia, water retention. And in that sense, it's almost the same like alcohol, right? If you're an a-hole before, alcohol is going to make that worse. And if you're a happy-go-lucky guy, alcohol is going to make that worse. Well, in this case, it's better. So it just highlights what you are. So we're all taking it for the bodybuilding and muscularity highlights, but you're going to get a lot of extra highlights on top. And you might get some highlights in the hair as well. This is part of the game, aging. Getting gray hairs, that's all part of it. Luckily, I don't have any gray hairs yet, but let's see in 3 years when I break 40. By the way, Denton comments, off steroids, Ryan Ghostling. I'll take it as a compliment. It's just how Ryan Gosling acts. On steroids, Jocko Willink. And Jocko is a badass motherfucker too. So I'll take both as a compliment. Thank you. On the way, Denton. XZCVYU comments, if you have taught me anything, referring to Derek, it is to not become a bodybuilder. Yeah. it does detract from a lot of things, and whether that's your health or your physical appearance in the real world. I have a video about that as well. I'll put it up right here. Bodybuilding detracts from a lot of things. You're essentially making yourself handicapped, especially when you break 225, 240, 250, 270, 300 pounds. The real world is not accommodating to a person that size. And whether that's an obese man, 300 pounds, or an overly muscular man, the body mass index is going to be the same. 300 pounds, 270 pounds, 250 pounds, even 230 pounds, it's not accommodated by the real world. So there's a lot of things you can say not to become a bodybuilder. But if we do it out of passion, I love to train. I love to eat healthy. I love to look a little bit bigger. 175 centimeters, 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. It's not tall, especially considering from Holland where everybody's over 6 foot. Everybody's over 184 centimeters. So, being this much shorter than everybody else, and then, you're 15, maybe a little bit more impressionable. You start watching Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and you calculate, I can put this extra height on my biceps instead. Maybe you'll get a little bit more respect that way. You get respect, but it's usually a different kind of admiration compared to the guys that are a little bit taller. So again, move to Thailand where everybody's a lot shorter than I am. Problem solved. Abod Holmes comments, nowadays the average 19-year-old guys who are on gear look like they're in fact 19, but it's in dog years. Yeah. Now there's a lot of guys that, look my age, but they're 10 years younger. And I've met a few of them, without naming any names. And you go out, you go a place where normal, average people are. And you ask them, who's older? And they say the other guy. And this was on cycle. This was when I was blasting my socks off. On cycle, guys that were like 25 years old, doing whatever they're doing, they were looking older than I was. Novid Kosken comments, Derek's conclusions are great. Anyone trying gear need to take heed, in my opinion. Yeah, it's very true. When I got started with performance-enhancing drugs almost 10 years ago, I was already doing research for, I think since like 20 years old. And then I took the plunge at 26. So I was already doing research for 6 years already. And it's only through the bodybuilding forum. So compared to what we have access now on YouTube, ebooks, really knowledgeable people putting out tremendous content that you can make a solid decision on for yourself, whether you want to, go in gear or not, or decide to use certain compounds or not. That information was not there. Yeah, that's why I like to give back to the sport and make sure that some of the younger or older audience out there that hasn't had time to experiment or doesn't want to experiment at all can learn from my experiences, and same as with Derek's experiences. All the quality content providers are really putting in the effort to make sure you get all the information you need to make solid decisions. Yeah, and, that's why I made that video, because it's very apparent. It's very apparent in the before and after. The before on cycle, 700 carbs per day, 450 milligrams of testosterone, and then compared to now 6 months later when I'm off the carbohydrates and off the anabolic steroids, it's a tremendous change. Yeah, I'll be honest about it. So it's something that you don't take into consideration, and I'll probably have to do another video about everything that goes along with gaining size that you didn't expect, because that one was very popular. You got a lot of funny comments on that video as well. So we'll do a follow-up top 5 of what you can expect when you gain size. And of course, when you stay drug-free, there's a ceiling to how much size you can gain. And we're talking about muscularity here. I mean, not just raw mass. There's several cases of people ending up at 600 to 700 pounds. And I think that's the wrong kind of size. So, muscularity is usually determined by, serum concentrations of testosterone and the effort you put in and the food you consume. But, with natural bodybuilding, there's a ceiling. And luckily, the aging isn't really an issue with natural bodybuilding. The hair loss might still occur. The acne might still occur. But the aging and the organ stress and the health complications, which are commonly associated with performance-enhancing drugs, that's definitely not going to occur when you stay drug-free. So that's why we put out all this information so you guys can make a informed decision on whether you want to take certain compounds or not, or which approach or which direction you want to go with regarding your fitness or bodybuilding or whatever aspirations you have, if it involves performance-enhancing drugs. And I honestly wish that Derek was around 10 years to 15 years ago when I started researching about performance-enhancing drugs. I think Derek could have easily prevented me running some of these weird experiments you can commonly find in the steroid bodybuilding forums. So I'm here to give back. Derek is here to give back. Leon Longevity is here to give back. And a lot of other knowledgeable people on YouTube are here to give back to the fitness community, hopefully making it overall a little bit more youthful and wiser in the process. I'm an 80s kid, so this one is hilarious. Full Grim Timmy comments, "It's the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He chose poorly." That's a good one. I like that one for sure. Roni Boney comments, "Thumbnail makes the guy look like a Skyrim character." And Burton Peck comments, "This dude looks like an Oblivion character." And I think that's very true. If a Nord had a baby with an Argonian. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Your comments were hilarious. And yes, steroids make you look old AF, but it's reversible.